and coming in with the intro video. And Bilo now. And Bilo, you're there.
My picture's frozen.
Bilo, talk.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first video AMA with Synchrony. Andy is my guest. It's our pleasure to have you with us today, Andy. I'd like to welcome you here on behalf of Crypto Society and everybody that's part of our community. We would love to begin with a brief history of yourself, your team, and your roles at Synchrony and what you were doing before. Welcome.
Hi,
Can you hear
can
me,
you
Andy?
can you hear me? Sorry,
Oh,
yeah, I can
yeah,
hear you.
that's
Sorry, I
okay.
lost you for a second there.
Yeah, no worries. Did you get my question?
No, I didn't. I'm just now getting all
Okay.
the
No,
audio and
no
video coming
worries.
through.
No worries. I was just saying it's a pleasure to have you with us today. We'd like to welcome you on behalf of Crypto Society and our entire community and yours. And we'd like to begin with a brief history of yourself, your team, what you guys were doing before and your roles at Synchrony.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having us on. Just want to give a big shout out to Crypto Society. You guys have been around with us since very early on in our journey, so we really do appreciate that. We also love your community because your community is kind of exactly the community that we're targeting with Synchrony. So we really do appreciate what you guys are doing over there. And for
Much
the
appreciated.
blockchain environment in general. So a little bit about myself and Synchrony and the team. Um, I uh, I got started in crypto in 2010 on accident. Actually, it was right after 2009, so obviously the housing market collapse was still fresh in my mind. Right out of college, and I got a job at a Berkshire Hathaway subsidiary, and I got put in charge of their research and development division. And I looked into PGP encryption for compliance purposes, and I went down the rabbit hole of PGP encryption, and that led me to Bitcoin. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Um, just as like a thought sort of experiment, not really like, oh, this is going to be a huge store of value. It's worth $1 now. It's going to be worth what people on the internet are saying. It's going to be worth $100,000. Blah blah blah. I didn't
Wow.
think that at all. Just kind of stumbled into it, and it was just like a very interesting sort of side note. And then a couple years later, it's like, oh, it's over $100. Okay, this is interesting. So that's kind of how I stumbled into crypto. I also ended up losing the majority of my Bitcoin on Mt. Gox. So my brother says you're not
Oh,
in crypto until you have life changing losses. So that's my first time getting burned over there. I Synchrony started basically in February of last year, maybe a little bit earlier is when the team started. I've known Andrew, the co-founder, for about a decade because we grew up in Hong Kong together. He actually knows my middle brother quite well. And so we used to actually just play video games together. It wasn't anything professional at all. It's just like we'd get on, we'd play video games, and it's fine. So we had this pre-established relationship over there. And Mohammed actually and we were in a bunch of Ethereum hackathons together. And we actually well, Muhammad did. Muhammad's a really, really talented developer. He built this hackathon platform, and I just helped him kind of take it over the edge. And it got picked up by this Australian Securities Exchange Commission. So, that's kind of how us three sort of met up. And the way Synchrony started was I was trying to get Andrew into degen trading a little bit. I was like, whoa, you should check out some of this leverage stuff and spot trading. And, I wasn't telling him to ape into anything like Doge, but, it was even for him, and he has a traditional finance and fintech background, and he's a developer. He's a very good engineer. I was trying to explain, okay, so to stake your tokens, you got to buy two separate assets, and you got to bring it over here, and you got to get an LP token, and you got to take that, and you got to put it somewhere else. And he's just like, why am I doing any of this? It doesn't make And, we started, toying around with this idea of passive investment vehicles. And, the first thing we landed on was like, I really liked PiDAO at the time. That was one of my favorite plays back then, just because it was easy, like you could just get diversified exposure to, the Ethereum network and not have to worry so much about, these rising gas fees and things like that. And so we're like, okay, let's make an index fund. But we quickly figured out there's pitfalls in there. And there's also these other components too, like, copy trading and analytics that we're sort of missing. And so we're like, well, if we're going to do this at Synchrony, we need to start, broadening our horizons a little bit and focus more on what the DeFi user wants, not to iterate on existing technology so much. I mean, we do iterate on existing technology, but we're putting the trader's intention first, which is, if you're a DeFi user, you don't care what chain you're on. You don't care if it's an LP token. You don't care if it's a yield farm. You just want your money to work harder for you, right? So, how do we? Yeah, exactly. How do we bring people into that intersection there? So, yeah. Yeah. So that's
Nice,
kind
very
of
nice.
Synchrony in a nutshell there. Yeah.
What is your role at Synchrony, Andy?
Oh man, what isn't my role? My old boss used to say, if it's not illegal or moral or against your
That's a good
social,
one.
religious, or cultural beliefs, it's part of the job. So I do everything. I'm also a full stack developer, but these days it's coding is not nearly as much of my responsibilities as I thought it was going to be, because there's so much admin side of things, right? There's these um,
Sure.
these sorts of interviews where I need to interact with the community. There's making onboarding people. There's relationship management with our current partners and integrations and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of things that I did not expect as a founder that I'd be doing. But hey, it's cool. I wouldn't trade it for a single thing.
Nice, nice. Many hats. Congrats. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Um, so tell us why you thought Synchrony needed to be built and what problem it solves.
Um, well, started Synchrony trying to solve some of my own problems, right? Because I've been in the space for a while, and I enjoy trading, and I enjoy getting into the weeds. We were talking a little bit, before about um, uh, just a little bit of my history as like a trader and like what I was trying to do. And, I had a hard look at sort of, my goals as a trader, my goals
Mhm.
as well, there's multiple goals as a founder, goals as a trader, goals as like an individual person. And none of them involve me spending more time in charts, or, you know what I mean? Or digging in, or like, uh, spending more time away from my family, that sort of thing. Right. So it's just like, the problem we're solving is, how do we um, make DeFi more accessible, right? Because DeFi is not very accessible in its current standpoint, and also more accessible not just for new users, but more accessible for seasoned users as well. Because seasoned users, kind of like myself, a lot of them are like, okay, this is cool, but I wish I had more time. The markets don't sleep. I wish I had more actionable items. So it's really, again, it's not so much about iterating what exists out there. It's about taking what exists and make it more actionable for users. Yeah.
Okay, great, great. So look, you've used terms like DeFi, you've used terms like staking, liquidity providing. Tell us, for somebody who's not familiar with digital assets, with blockchain, somebody new to the space, tell us a little bit more about Synchrony and how they could benefit from using Synchrony as a platform for those that are not familiar with the space.
Absolutely. So Synchrony fundamentally is three feature sets, right? The first one is copy trading, which to new users, basically you are following a leader wallet. So your favorite KOL or your friend even. Andrew wanted to used to copy my trades, and he's just like, give me your wallet address and I'll just copy whatever, I'll mimic exactly what's going on in there. So we do, and it makes sense, man. I wish I could do that with some of my friends too, which is one of the reasons why we build it. So we have this copy trading function, which just allows you to follow somebody else's trades. Which makes a lot of sense, especially as like an entry point to people. We wanted to create like solid entry points, but also like solid continuation points for existing users. So we have this copy trading functionality. The problem
Nice.
with that, just following somebody blindly, if you're copy trading, especially as a new user, because I talked about how I lost a lot of money early on, is you're worried about the asset manager, you're worried about the people who are responsible for your money. And if they're going to, let's say, dump it into an inflationary meme token or something like that, this kind of behavior is not, ideal for everybody, especially if your risk tolerances are shorter or if you're new to crypto or something like that. So that's where the second feature set comes in, which is composable indexes, which is, I'll dig in a little bit more to that side of things, but an index is kind of like the S&P 500 or the FTSE 100. It's a calculation methodology that sets up a collection of assets, right? So for example, the top 10 tokens on Ethereum by market cap. So, you'll have like a calculation parameter that's only showing these 10 tokens and just the top ones by market cap. So most market cap to least market cap, top 10. We use that same calculation methodology to bind the copy trading wallets. So you as a user, you can go in and you can follow a stranger or somebody on the leaderboard, and you don't have to worry about them, putting your funds into an inflationary token or something that's outside of your risk portfolio, because it's bound to these constraints. So that kind of makes things a little bit safer for starting out users who are interested in like getting a little bit of exposure to a trader or something like that. But then keeping it within these parameters. The indexes themselves too, so these calculation parameters, they're also actually assets that we make. So they're just like the S&P 500 or the FTSE 100. It's a single asset that you get, and it represents those top 10 tokens on Solana by market cap. So instead of you needing to go out and be like, hey, I want to get exposure to the Ethereum marketplace, you don't need to go out and buy 10 individual tokens. You can just get one, and it represents all of those. And when, because this list is a living list. So when something drops out or something comes in, the asset that you have will automatically rebalance those 10 tokens. So now it's like the new top 10 tokens on Ethereum by market cap or whatever have you. And so, Vanguard did a study in 2019, and they said that, indexes outperform actively managed funds 80% of the time. So, these are really, they're not as sexy, you know what I mean? It's not as, oh, I can, fly by night and, I got this cool trader and he's going to do all this high frequency aping or whatever.
You're hedging your bets.
Exactly.
You're not putting it all on red, right? You're spreading it out. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And that's really
Tell
important
me, you were
too
saying
in
something
crypto.
about,
Yeah. No,
Go
no, I'm
ahead,
sorry.
please.
Go on. There's a little bit of a lag, so
Yeah, there is. You were saying something about some tokens or coins dropping in and out of the indices. Does this happen automatically through some sort of a calculation, some sort of a program or a
yeah.
smart contract? Or is this something that you guys decide on, and how do you decide?
So there's a couple of ways, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good question. There's a couple of ways that this works. So we have our own Synchrony specific indexes that we're putting out, and those have a regular rebalance and reconstitution period. Um, this changes based off of what chain that the index is deployed on, and
Hmm.
our own internal metrics that we decide. Because, for example, Solana obviously is significantly cheaper than Ethereum to rebalance and reconstitute. That's one of the reasons why we built on Solana first. We're chain agnostic at the end
Hmm.
of the day. Like I said, DeFi users, they don't care what chain there are, and they just want their money to work harder for them. Um, so it, the other side of that is that we'll have some DAO functionality as well. So you can build your own index, right? You can be like top 10 tokens or top 15 or bottom 5 of the top 20 tokens. You can get kind of interesting with these calculations. And within there, you can be like, I would like to rebalance once a month, or I'd like to rebalance once a quarter, or something like that. Because if you do it on Ethereum, you can't rebalance daily because you're going to be spending 70, you're going to be,
Yes.
gas price is 70 and you replace it 10 times. It's like $700 worth of gas fees. And then who eats that? And how does that work? So the chain, the gas fees, transaction throughput, all of this kind of has an effect on things as well. But the DAO, which we're still figuring out some of the governance mechanics behind the DAO, but the DAO will help
Mechanisms.
guide. Yeah, exactly. Some of the ways that this works as well, because at the end of the day, it's not very decentralized if you just have the team dictating
Sure.
everything. Um,
Sure. Sure.
I do see some downsides to DAOs in some situations, but we want the community to be able to have a voice and to provide input, because that's another thing too. My old boss used to say is you don't have to be smart, you just have to recognize it and copy it effectively. So the community has a lot more minds than we do. So if we see something intelligent, then we'll definitely be down to put that out there. So
That, that's great. And Andy, you've kind of answered three of my next questions with what you just said. Essentially, one of the questions I had for you is, why did you decide to build on Solana? And you've answered this essentially.
mhm.
Um, Also, I was going to ask you, how do you mean when you say that you're going to have a decentralized asset management platform? How could an asset platform be decentralized? And I suppose this is, you've answered this by saying you're going to have a DAO, and there's going to be proposals coming in, and the community is going to vote on these proposals, and that's essentially what's going to form these decentralized indices. Is that kind of the route you're going?
That's one of the routes. So we wanted to keep this very flexible as well. So the community is going to be able to have an impact on the way that other members will be able to construct these indexes. But users can actually build
Mhm.
their own, and that's one of the token utilities of SCY. Is you'll need to possess and stake a certain amount in order to set up a new index. The other component to why Synchrony is decentralized is it's non-custodial. So the asset manager that you're following is not actually ever in possession of your tokens. So that's another sort of differentiator there, because there are some competitors out there. And I use competitors kind of lightly because we're so early in the space right now. There aren't a lot of there's a lot of room when someone's like, oh, these guys are doing it too. It's just like, well, how many car brands are there? You know what I mean? Just because Honda exists doesn't mean Toyota is not going to exist. You know what I mean? So
Sure,
that's like another
sure.
component to decentralization, is we don't believe in holding custody, not your keys, not your coins, right? So we want the user to
Yeah, absolutely.
retain control over their assets the whole time. Otherwise, we're just turning into a bank, and that's where we're trying to step away from. So
I totally get it. Thank you. That's a great explanation. Um, so Index investing, I mean, you use the word composable indices. Just to explain the word
Uh-huh.
composable in this context.
So what I mean by composable is there's two sides to the indexes, right? It's still a calculation parameter, but there's like kind of two use cases there. One is for actually an index, and one is to bind your copy trading wallet. So I'll go over the copy trading
Okay,
wallet, then I'll talk about like the index side.
sure.
The reason why you'd want to do that for your copy trading wallet is like for, I guess, slightly more advanced users. If you want to, follow, let's say, my favorite KOL or something like that, and I want to whitelist some tokens or blacklist other tokens, right? For me personally, if I'm doing a top 10, I probably I might do the top or the bottom 10 of the top 15. Maybe I don't want those top 5 because the price action isn't juicy enough for me or something like that. So for me as a copy
Hmm.
trader, I can use these index parameters to like bind my wallet outside or whitelist or blacklist certain tokens. So there's a lot of value there
Interesting.
in terms of actually composing your own indexes. So you can make these things, this calculation up, right? I can go in and we'll have this index builder basically where I can adjust certain parameter, uh, you know, bottom 5 by 7-day moving average. And the DAO can vote on various mechanics here too. So like how do we want to bind these wallets? 7-day moving average, 30-day moving average, market cap, volatility, like price action against another token, something like that. So, we can, you can make these, and this kind of serves two purposes. One, retail investors can get access to interesting indexes of assets, and then the other component to it is um, it's a B2B play, right? So you as a fund can set up your own index, and people can subscribe to that index, and then you can set like fees, like withdrawal fees and things like that. So you can benefit from your indexes as well that you make. So if people, break down their token into the constituent parts, there'll be a small withdrawal fee that, you as the creator of the index can set. So there is this dual side for the creator and for the consumer of the indexes as well.
I see. So if I'm an index creator and I know nothing about coding or how to set up an index, are there tools on the Synchrony platform to allow me to select
Yeah.
what the parameters are for how the index will run?
Yeah. 100%. We want to make
Wow.
this as easy as possible. We're still figuring out some of the user experience side. We know what we want to do, right? I know what the end goal is. We actually are working with a UX UI professor based out of Baltimore to help us do a
Mhm.
couple of user studies, because it gets, this isn't like filling a basket in Amazon. This is like creating pretty
Of course.
complex,
Yeah,
um,
sure.
pretty complex like financial tools. So we want to make it. There's a line we're trying to dance between being too simple and not dynamic enough, or being too overwhelming, and now you're just looking at an Excel spreadsheet, and that's not that's also not the vibe we're going for. So
Totally get it. And this is really, really, really cool what you guys are doing. Um, Tell me, so if I'm building an index or I am sharing my wallet for copy trading, what are my incentives? What do I get out of it?
yeah, so part of the Synchrony model is a profit sharing model. So if you have a leader, if you have a wallet, and a certain amount of people follow your wallet, um, you're going to benefit from the amount of people that are following your wallet, because there is this we have staking Synchrony as a function of getting more access to advanced copy trading features. And to do that, you need a stake or you need to pay a monthly subscription. And this monthly
Okay.
subscription is split between, the Synchrony platform for overhead and all that stuff, but then a good chunk of it goes to the leader wallet. So it we definitely want to incentivize people, like the best people on our platform, incentivize the best traders,
Of course.
and passively too. So even if you're not on the leaderboard and somebody follows your wallet and they pay for the advanced copy trading, you'll get money sent to your
You
wallet.
get a percentage.
Yeah, it just
Very
might be a
nice.
nice little
Very nice.
surprise.
You know what? And I'm asking this deliberately because I think it's important not only for the users to understand what capabilities Synchrony provides, but also for those that can provide the input, like the professional traders or fund managers, indice managers. There's something for both sides here, and this is what makes I
Mhm.
think your platform very unique. So that's really great, very great. Tell us about your analytics features. How does that work, and how does it different from on-chain analytics that we can get through, as an example, CryptoQuant or Glassnode? Where the differences lie, and how you present that data in a manner that is easy to understand and follow.
That's a really good question. Those are fantastic platforms. Dune Analytics is also another really good one. These guys have really great data fidelity, really good insights, pretty good graphical representation of what they're trying to show. There's a couple of things that separate us from them. First of all, when you go onto their site and you dig in and you like just go one link in, it's quite intense. There's a lot of information there, and for pro
Yeah,
traders,
it's
it's
like,
just like, oh,
whoa.
sweet, this is
Yeah,
great. This is like awesome. I got my 6 screens, and I can look at all the numbers and everything. And they provide amazing data services, and we'll likely leverage one or two of them for our own purposes as well. Um, there's two things that we do a little bit differently. Well, one of them is the off chain data that we pull. So there's social data, there's on chain call data. So it's not necessarily written data. It's we're working with RPC providers to you know try and index user call data. So um, when users are setting up trades but not going through them, when you're checking your wallet, all of these things, they interact with the blockchain, but they don't actually write anything to the blockchain. This data currently is just indexed and written and rewritten over these solid state drives. So we're starting to index this data as well. So we have this other data source that kind of separates us a little bit, as well as pulling social data, Google Analytics, that sort of thing. So layering data on top of it, on top of itself. But the
nice.
most important part for me is what we do with that, which is we're trying to distill this information into actionable items. Like I was saying earlier, I'm not trying to spend all day in charts. I'm just trying to be like, yes, no, okay, I'm going to go spend time with, my wife or my dog or whatever have you. So what we're doing is we're coming up with a suite of at a glance metrics, and one of them is, for example, like the wallet trust factor, which basically the user case is I'm a user. I'm trying to follow a wallet, a copy trade wallet, or I'm trying to see how valid this potential trade this potential wallet could be. I pop this wallet address into the wallet trust factor, and it pulls a variety of data like, hey, are they in our database already? How old is the wallet? How much money is in the wallet? Rough profitability, because it's hard to peg all this stuff down. But basically, we're taking
Of
all of these
course, of course.
variables and we're distilling them into like red, yellow, green, right? Like, is this something I should do? Is there a little flag up, or is this a no? Um, so I'm not trying to beat users over the head with simplicity, but I'm trying to give them what they're looking for sooner, right? It's our job as builders to
Totally get it.
reduce the amount of time from intention and outcome to zero. So that's what we're trying to do with that. Yeah.
Totally get it. I mean, I've surfed CryptoQuant, Glassnode, and it's a lot of information, and you could very easily get lost in the midst of it and just like, oh,
Hmm.
yeah, I wish I had a bit more guidance here. So that's great. That's
Yeah.
really really great. Um, so tell us a little bit, and you know what? I'll leave this kind of up to you because I have a few questions on your platform. I'm wondering if you would like to take us through your platform by sharing your screen, show us some of the features, or if you like, I could just ask you specific questions on the platform. Which one do you prefer?
What I could do is I could take you guys through Token Stream. I have that up and good to go. The Synchrony side of things, I we're just working on a couple of surprises right now, so I wouldn't want to
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't want to show anything that's like not ready and people like, what's going on over here? Okay, but yeah, I can definitely show my screen. I can take you guys through token
It's
stream.
just you and me. I won't tell anyone.
But yeah, here let me get my screen share go. Um, all right, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So this is token stream. This is part of that third bit of functionality that I mentioned to you guys, which is the analytics side of things. This is our token stream is actually a pretty interesting product for me because it serves a couple of purposes. Like obviously this is Solana, we're on Solana and Near here, but what this serves is basically a good starting point for people to check out what exists on a ecosystem. And we're starting to pull in
Mhm.
social data. We have all your basic price performance stuff, but we're starting to pull in these other um, you know on off-chain data that people can pull as well. So you can dig into these individual protocols, and you can do a little bit of research. We have all of their ecosystem links and things like that here, and this does a couple of things. First of all, this is also an API, so we built this to help other builders build better products. So we're on Near and we're on Solana right now, but we're going to be cross-chain. We have very aggressive expansion plans for token stream. And what you can do with this is there's an API, so other projects can come in and they can pull price data. They can pull all of the off-chain data that we're starting to aggregate. They can pull all this stuff in one location. So other projects can leverage token stream to build to build really cool features. What we're using it for, obviously, it gets our foot in the door. We were just at the Near hackathon. So we submitted this to the Near protocol hackathon. It gives us pretty good exposure to their ecosystem. And then the midterm goal for this is, hey, now we're going to make an index for Near, and now we're making an index for Solana. So it's not the composable indexes that here. Let me just stop sharing my screen. Just go into the void for a little
Almost
bit.
we're in the matrix.
Yeah, I know. So can is my camera working, or is
Yeah,
it still
just
the
maybe
void?
stop sharing, and we'll see you. Yeah, stop sharing your
Oh, there
screen.
we go. There we go.
There.
I was like, am I at the void now? So token stream, for us, it's a really easy way for us to get into other ecosystems and provide real utility to projects that are already there. And then it also gives us a chance to create indexes on these individual ecosystems, because Synchrony itself, copy trading, and the composable indexes, not just making the indexes, but the composable side of things, are quite complicated for us to build out and deploy really rapidly. But we can deploy indexes, we can deploy the analytics tools first. So this is kind of our go-to-market strategy for the analytics side of Synchrony. It just helps us get our foot in the door into these ecosystems. It allows us to interact with these projects on the ground, hopefully leverage, because Synchrony is we're leveraging a lot of we're built on the shoulders of giants, right? So if we can find those giants and build on more of their shoulders, then we're more than down to do that. So finding new projects and ecosystems that are going to help us, be more effective with what we're doing is also really big, a big deal for us as well. So.
That's great, Andy. It's really nice, very exciting, and very interesting and innovative what you guys are doing, I have to say. Um, so let me ask you this. When it comes to TA education or trading education or indices education, are there any plans or any interest from Synchrony's perspective to start some sort of academy or courses or teaching people how to do stuff?
Absolutely.
maybe down
So
the line?
it's funny. Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned that. So both of my parents are teachers. Um, my mom is a teacher of linguistics, and my dad does supply chain operations and logistics. And my youngest brother's a teacher, and my middle brother's not a teacher. My middle brother's also in crypto like me. He has a marketing and VC firm,
Wow.
and they're really great at what they do. One of the things that they're trying to build is an education platform and a news platform as well. So we're going to
Okay.
be integrating with those things pretty heavily as they start to come to fruition. Education is key. You gotta have the explainer videos. You gotta have these knowledge on ramps for the community. Otherwise, it's so inaccessible. You like crypto is at the intersection of software development and finance, and both of those subjects are um, quite dry sometimes. So how do you make this interesting and
Absolutely.
exciting? Everybody's interested in crypto. My grandma's interested in crypto, but as soon as I'm like, okay, grandma, well, it's an immutable ledger, she's like, all right, never mind. So how like I think education is key. So
That's funny. Immutable ledger. That's good. Okay. Um, so the big question is, what are you guys working on, and what do you what's your future roadmap moving forward?
yeah, so I touched a little bit on that with Token Stream. That's going to be our really aggressive, our aggressive expansion play in terms of where Synchrony's at. We have been working really hard on the indexes themselves. I almost spilled the beans on something, so no, I can't say that. I really want to, but we've got a great partner that we're working with that we're helping getting some data feeds from, and once we get all of the data feeds locked in, then we'll be good to go. I'm really excited to announce that news. Yeah, just a huge fan. I'm surprised I haven't spilled the beans on
Okay,
that one
listen,
yet.
listen,
Uh,
listen. This is our first video AMA. I can't let you go without getting some breaking news. You know that,
oh,
right?
I'm uh,
I mean,
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna
give you
have to
some
give me
tea. I'm gonna
something.
give you some tea. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll give you something. So um,
Okay.
let's see what else we got. So we got the indexes. We got the token stream expansion. Token stream, and this is fresh. The next spots we're going to be going to are Polkadot and Avalanche. We're looking at EVM compatible chains. We're trying to expand over there really really
Mhm.
rapidly. We had a conversation with a layer 2 on Ethereum, probably one of the more popular layer 2s on Ethereum, and we're going to start doing some analytics work for them. We also, well, obviously we had, central exchange listings. There's some pre-staking going on over there. Synchrony native staking. I actually have a call a little bit later after this, and we're going to continue. We're testing the staking program right now. I don't want to say a specific date when it's going to be live, but it will be soon. It's coming together quite nicely. We generally over engineer things for ourselves. Like we had a airdrop recently, and there was like 8 conditions that users could satisfy, and there's all these exceptions, all these like long tail problems that we had to account for. So it was probably the most complicated airdrop anybody's ever done. But now, on the token stream side, we can recycle that for other projects as well. On one of the big things on token stream, I have not said this a whole lot either, is we want it to be a infrastructure level project for other projects to build on top of, and we wanted to help solve some of some of the problems that we came across as builders ourselves. And for example, one of them was, well, when you do tokenomics, how do you structure this? What's a good way to structure tokenomics? We honestly, to start off, we copied linear finances tokenomics because we just needed a starting place. So instead of doing that, we want to have like a tokenomics generator. We want to have articles specifically and content specifically for other builders, so that they can avoid some of the pitfalls that we when you go into this thing, I thought, oh, I'm just going to be coding. I'm just going to be building this thing. Maybe I'll like, instruct some people on design or UX UI here or there. A lot of building is not actually literally, putting the bricks in the in the building. It's everything around it, and that was definitely a really interesting challenge for us to face. So we're trying to tool token stream up to help other projects do that as well. Because if people are building
Very
with
nice.
Synchrony, it's a really good B2B play, and then we're establishing ourselves as like thought leaders, brand ambassadors for whatever ecosystem, and we're helping grow the blockchain community a bit faster as well. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Very, very, very impressive, sir. I have to say, I'm very
Thank you.
excited about the future of Synchrony, and just amazed by what you guys have managed to build. And just listening to you, I mean, sky's the limit. And when it comes to this entire thing we're in, this whole blockchain thing, I mean, sky's the limit for everybody. And the power you're
Hmm.
you're 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 working on putting in everybody's hands is huge. I mean, just huge. All you need in this space is for sure a little bit of money, but a lot of education, and then sky is truly the limit. So congratulations once again. That's great. I think
Thank you.
for this side of the AMA with my questions, I think we're done with those. You've managed to very appropriately describe your platform, your plans, the future. Um, I'm sure everybody listening to this is definitely going to be even more excited and hyped about Synchrony. And we're going to kind of open this up right now for our YouTube listeners. Being a Sunday and being the situation in Ukraine, we're not sure what kind of audience we're going to have, but things have been rather quiet lately. But we will transition this into YouTube questions where people can type out their questions and you can select an answer. So,
Sure.
yeah, let me just see here.
And will I be able to see those questions on my end? I
Yeah,
just
I
don't see
believe
the
I
last.
believe that if you log into our YouTube,
Oh,
which
that's
is
right.
part of the announcement, you should just log into
Yeah, I got you right
right as
here.
YouTube, and then you'll be able to see the questions,
Oh,
which
that's
is
right.
part
Give
of
me
the
one
announcement.
second. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sweet. I see him now.
Okay. All right. I'm looking on it right now, and we have a few guys in there, but I don't see any questions so far.
Well, you asked some really good questions, so you took all the gas out of everybody else.
Did I
I like
did
that
I, did I
though. I
handicap
always
everybody?
say, I always say though, I like good questions better than good answers. Because good questions leave you with something. They leave you with like a thought. They make you think about things. Good
Yeah.
answers, it's kind of like a period. There's yeah. So
Well, listen. I don't know. I don't see any other questions coming in. But listen, this has been really informative. It's been great. As I said earlier, I'm in awe of what you guys are doing, and the just your imagination in terms of where you want to go, and I have no doubt that you're going to get there. So, congratulations once again. Thank you for accepting to be our guest here today, and looking forward to more AMAs in the future as things progress.
awesome. Well, thank you again so much. we really appreciate everything Crypto Society's done for us. You guys have been, uh, one of the day one, supporters of Synchrony. So we really do appreciate that. Love the good questions. We love your community. Feel free to come over to our Telegram or DM us on Twitter if you've got any further questions. You want to pick our brain over anything. We're pretty active over there. So, we'd love to engage with you guys further, and looking forward to the next time we can do this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Of course. Have a good day.
Take care, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.